Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. I will be posting videos right after live or video and then get started on the other video. Hello, Transport Time. I have big news, but we'll wait till we have more people in. So, or at least I think it's big news. April, no, April. Oh, I forgot about it. It is April Fool's Day, isn't it? Yikes. No April Fools. I do have big news. Hi, Ross Lynch. I was going to say Transport Time. That just broke my heart. Oh. I will get it. I knew I was forgetting something, Marie. Thank you. But I do have big news. Really big, important news. But it'll wait a second, a minute, or 3, or 4, or 5. Or maybe I'll just make you guys wait till the end. And you guys can just wait it out. I don't know. Let's see. There we go. Message is pinned. Okay. So the big news. 5 minutes. You want me to wait 5 minutes? It is, I'm not sure how warm it is outside right now. It is 46 degrees Fahrenheit. And I can't tell, with my blinds sort of closed, I can't tell if it's cloudy or not, but it's supposed to be cloudy. Do you guys like keeping the chat closed to subscribers, at least during the schedule part of it? Yapping is so overrated. I like yapping. If it's what I think it is. I'm waiting till, I don't understand. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I don't know where somebody else is at. I want more people in before I make my announcements. I don't want to have to do this twice. I probably will have to, though. You know what? I'm going to tell you, and then if I have to repeat myself, I'll repeat myself. I checked stats today, guys. I checked my stats today. And right now, at this very exact second, as of March 27th, we are at 2,286 public watch hours. And maybe that's not where we need to be, but that means we're moving up. And every time that we move up is a step closer to 3,000. I got really excited. And then I thought, we have to go through a whole entire hundreds before we reach 3,000. But, I'll take it. Apparently, nobody else is coming in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Maybe anyway. No, that's not what I want. I hate trying to find people. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get started, y'all. So today we're talking about chimney smokers. And these are one of the most unique ecosystems that I know about. They can be found at 8,200 feet down to 900 and 800 feet. Yeah, but it's not as big a news as I thought it was. We're at 2,286 feet. I completely read it wrong. But that means that we're one step closer to going to 300. 2,300. And every time we move up, we get closer. So these guys, these chimney smokers, can be down as far as 9,800 feet. or 2,500 to 3,000 meters. Well, it's 2,286 public watch hours, and we need 3,000, so we're getting closer. Now, bear in mind that these chimney smokers, have I ever been inside a volcano? No. These chimney smokers can be found deeper, or they can be shallower. But what is a chimney smoker? Basically, it's like an underwater geyser that is, I think, constantly pumping out volcanic heated water. I have. Okay. These vents put out minerals as well, because this water is, not only is it super hot. Nope. Not only is it super hot, but it also has loads of minerals in it. And over time, those minerals precipitate out of the water and form chimneys. Now, as I mentioned previously, this water is superheated as well as very rich in chemicals. The water can reach 400 degrees Celsius or 752 degrees Fahrenheit, and it can be hotter. Unlike other ecosystems that are totally driven by the sun, this ecosystem is unique and that it is totally driven by chemicals given off by the chimney smokers. In other places, like above in the sunlight, plants fuel the ecosystem, more or less. I mean, they get their nutrients from the sun, but anyway. Down here, though, there is bacteria, and that is what fuels sort of this ecosystem. And keep in mind, one, that the animals that are going to be mentioned live in complete darkness. There is no sunlight. The water is under a lot of pressure, and so are they. And there's no plants. And bacteria fuels this ecosystem. And they are constantly surrounded by poisonous gases. Yeah, it actually puts out what looks like black smoke. A little bit later, oh, what the heck? I don't understand where my other moderator is. They can be found throughout the world, but mainly where there's volcanic activity underwater. So rifts are really common. Yeah, they're scattered. So they're never necessarily in a spot that is convenient. No, they would be, I think further down, I need to call somebody because I don't like this. It bugs me when she's not on. So I'm sorry if you guys hear this. Hopefully that's enough and she hears it. Me too. I know, that Abigail is probably at work. But anyway, animals that can be found living around these vents. Yeah, Carol's the one I'm worried about. They include crabs, tube worms, shrimp, clams, and even mussels. We're not going to hit on all of the animals, but we're going to talk about a lot of them. Now, these tube worms, there are tube worms that live up higher in the water column, but these tube worms are vastly different. For one, they can grow to be over 2 meters in size. And they can be over 6.6 feet tall. So they're as tall as Michael Jordan. These worms have no mouth and no digestive system, as if that's not crazy. And if you think that you have bacteria in your stomach, remember these tube worms are 6 feet long, or 6.6 feet long. There are 285 billion bacteria per ounce of the tissue on this animal. Now, they do contain hemoglobin, the same stuff, that turns our blood red. Tube worms. Michael Jordan was 6'6". Yep. I don't know, they might be bigger. I don't think so, though. They take in hydrogen sulfide. This is the same stuff that can make your flatulence super stinky. If you've ever smelled the air and it smelled like rotten eggs, that is hydrogen sulfide. So keep that in mind. Just so you know what the chemical is. They actually will take that gas, that chemical, into their bodies and then transfer it to the bacteria who actually feed on it. And then the bacteria makes the nutrients that the worm needs. The first, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. I tell you what, these guys are truly alien. There are also snails. And if you think that the tube worms were different, these guys are different. They have bacteria that grows in pouches in their throat. Now they take in water laced with chemicals to feed the bacteria. And just like the tube worm, these guys then take in those chemicals and thus provide the snail with all the food that they need. Now, because there are so many dangerous chemicals, the snail, in order to protect itself, builds these plates. And those plates are actually made out of iron. Yep. There are shrimp that live on the smokers. And they have 0 eyes. They are also host to bacteria who use chemicals from the black smokers to fuel their host. But I'm not done yet. There are also sea anemones. Not only do these particular animals have to deal with the high pressure, the darkness, but they also have to deal with toxic metals. And they too depend on bacteria to produce their food. Part of this particular animal's adaptation is that they move the metals that enter their body into parts of their cells where they can't do harm. They also feed on, there are Yeti crabs. And Yeti crabs are they're also what's called a squat lobster. And they're a little bit hairy. And they actually feed on the bacteria that grows on those bristles, as well as they clean up the vents. So they're like scavengers. And they were first identified in 2005. It is believed, not quite that hairy, but hairy. It is believed that animals that live on the vents find other vents via their larval stage, where they are free swimming. The first deep sea vent community was discovered along the Galapagos Rift in 1977. And this was the first time that our notion of life was shattered. Because up to that point, we thought that basically life depended upon the sun. Even the life that was in the deep sea, we just assumed that they still got food from up top. But this was the first time that we truly, truly knew that life doesn't always depend on the sun. And it really gave us hope that we might find life in other places in the solar system. Now, what the Earth gives, the Earth can take away. And so at any moment, these vents can close up. And if that happens, the animals that live on that little island in the bottom of the sea, they die. There's no way for them to get nutrients to feed the bacteria. Now, I don't know how many of these communities there are. I'm assuming that there are others, but I don't know how many. At this point, I have said all I needed to say, so I'm going to be devilish and open up chat to everybody. Yay, it's what you all wanted, right? I was like, I really wanted to talk about it, and it's been in the plans for a while. We just had to get to it. Yes. That's what fuels that ecosystem. It's a little bit weird and bizarre. Just a little bit weird and bizarre. Thank you, Ross Lynch, actor fan. I am glad you did. We have think of it like a chimney. Like a really, really big industrial chimney. I don't know if you've ever lived around a steel mill. Unfortunately, I have for most of my life. Every once in a while, the wind would shift. Oh, I can show you what they look like. Hydrothermal vents. Yes. I'm going to use... Now, there are two types. There are black smokers and there are white smokers. The ones that I focused on were black smokers. Just so that... Well, they don't eat the bacteria. So that is a black smoker, and you can see the smoke coming out. That is actually water. So the animals are actually taking in the chemicals. These are white smokers. They are really super scary looking. This is an example. So this community, this vent is on the mid-ocean ridge at a depth of 3,030 meters or 9,940 feet. And there are mussels and also crabs in this community. I don't know if you can see the mussels and shrimp. Hey, Chelsea. So lots and lots of life in these vents. These are the tube worms. These are from the Galapagos Rift. And they're red like that because of no, that was a crab. Queef snatcher? You know, I tell people not to do stuff, and they don't listen. Yes, it is. And if you guys want, you can report it. Because I'm not being nice. I repeatedly asked for them not to do that. And if they want to play, they can play. Queef Snatcher, the next time you do that, where you use my picture, you know, the more that I have problems, the less I want to have people in, or have outsiders in my live. I will be going live at 7 p.m. No, I don't think so. Because the bacteria is contained within themselves. I don't think they fight over it. I mean, they might. Captain E.T., hold on. We are discussing deep sea vents. I don't understand your question, Captain E.T. I'm sorry. I wish I could... I will be live again at 7 p.m. I don't know... Captain E.T., I'm sorry, can you... Don't worry about it, Captain E.T. If... Yeah, that sometimes helps. If you leave and come back... Oh! Yeah, sometimes if you leave and come back, it might get better. Sometimes it'll get better. Marie, we're going to be setting up a, you exit live and come back in. The same way you exit live. Oh, I don't know about that one. Yeah, but he's saying when he's... You mean when you're going live? That I don't know, Captain E.T. You either have to... Yeah. You either have to end live and then restart it, or I don't know. I don't know if you can pause it. I don't know if you can pause it. I don't know if I can pause the live. I don't know if I can pause my live necessarily. I do. I don't know if it's up there. Yes, there's one up there. For those of you who might be subscribers who just came in, we are sitting at 2,286 for our numbers, for our public watch hours, and then... Oh, awesome. Yeah, I do now. I know Smosh. I know you weren't talking to me, but I know of them. They're pretty funny. If it's who I think it is, anyway. Oh. Okay. Anybody else? I don't know if I probably... Marie, can you see where can you see where it says anything about his comments being hidden from view? Or message deleted? Okay, I want you to report that. Do you know how to do that? Sorry, guys. Oh, I forgot. She's gonna be so mad at me. Okay. You can report it as, not as harassment to you, but as harassment to somebody else. I forget what they call it. And guys, harassment, I don't know, but they were doing it the other day. And I'm not playing. I'm done playing. So they found out. Hi, Dip. It is better to not be bad on my channel because there's a few people that are pushing buttons that they don't want to push. Chelsea, I had 2 people in the last live doing that to me. Thank you. I have to remember that when we go live, I have to set up a separate chat group for lives. Because what I do is when I go live, I have Facebook open so I can message my people. Cook, my lives, my rules. If people come into my lives and they're disrespectful, hi, predecessor, I'm going to deal with them. And if that makes me whiny and toxic, then maybe this is not the place for people that don't like that. I agree, Ross Lunch Actor Fam. But hello, Cook. Hello, predecessor. We were talking about chimney smokers. We're not gonna talk about smoking. I have kids in here. Gross, dude. Bye, predecessor. See you next time. Same. That's why he's not here. That is the name that they had back in back in Africa. They were called that word. I don't know why. Maybe because they're stubborn. I don't know. Hold on, guys. I gotta answer a phone call. Guys, I gotta cancel live. I will be back.